Hello, everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, The Cat Who Became Obsessed with Shadows. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. One evening, as the sun began to set and the last rays of daylight streamed through the living room window, Whiskers the cat noticed something unusual. The shadows cast by the furniture, plants, and even his own tail seemed to be alive in a way he had never seen before. As the sun sank lower in the sky, the shadows stretched and shifted across the floor, moving and flickering like mysterious creatures. At first, Whiskers was intrigued but unbothered. He simply watched the shadows dance across the room, fascinated by their strange, unpredictable movements. But as the days went by, his curiosity grew into something much more intense. He started to follow the shadows, trying to understand their every move. Whenever a shadow darted behind a chair or disappeared into the corner, Whiskers would dart after it, his paws skittering across the floor in a blur of excitement. His obsession reached new heights when he realized the shadows on the wall were just as fascinating. Every time the light changed, the shapes on the wall seemed to change with it. Whiskers would sit, his eyes wide, staring at the shifting shapes, hypnotized by their fluid motion. Why do they move like that? Whiskers wondered aloud, his whiskers twitching in concentration. He had no more. Soon, Whiskers' fascination with shadows consumed his every moment. It wasn't just the movement he found compelling, it was the chase. Every evening, he would stake out his favorite spots by the window, waiting for the shadows to appear. As soon as the sunlight hit the floor in a particular way, Whiskers would spring into action, leaping and pouncing at the shadows with an intensity that made even the humans in the house pause and watch in disbelief. "Whiskers, what are you doing?" his human Lucy asked one evening as she watched him dart back and forth across the room, his eyes locked on a shadow near the kitchen. "I'm hunting," he meowed, his tail flicking with determination. Lucy chuckled and petted his head. "But Whiskers, it's just a shadow." Whiskers narrowed his eyes, unbothered by Lucy's dismissal. "A shadow can be more than that. It can be a challenge. It can be an adventure," he muttered, his focus never wavering from the shifting shape on the floor. Every evening, his obsession grew stronger. He would race from one shadow to the next, never resting, never satisfied. The humans began to notice how much time he was spending chasing the elusive figures, and they started to worry about his fixation. "Maybe we should take him to the vet," Lucy said one afternoon, watching Whiskers chase his own tail, convinced the small black spot on the rug was a shadow trying to escape. "Don't be silly," her brother, Jake, replied. "It's just a phase. He'll get over it. Cats do weird stuff all the time." But Whiskers wasn't showing any signs of slowing down. The shadows were his new obsession, and nothing, absolutely nothing, could tear him away from his endless pursuit. One day, after what seemed like hours of chasing shadows in the living room, Whiskers sat down, exhausted. He had spent so much time leaping after them, trying to catch them, but none of them could be caught. As he panted and wiped his paw across his face, a sudden realization dawned on him. The shadows weren't something to be caught or defeated. They weren't enemies or prey. They were simply part of the world around him, a natural phenomenon that existed regardless of whether he tried to chase them or not. For the first time in weeks, Whiskers stopped running after the shadows. Instead, he sat quietly in the middle of the room, watching them with a calm, thoughtful gaze. The shadows, no longer something to conquer, became beautiful in their own right. He marveled at how they changed as the light shifted, how they danced on the floor and the walls, their movements a gentle reminder of the passing of time. As the sun set once again, Whiskers found a new peace in simply observing the shadows. He no longer needed to chase them or pounce at them with frantic energy. Instead, he allowed himself to enjoy their silent dance, content with the mystery of their existence. The shadows were always there, whether he pursued them or not, and perhaps he realized that was the most fascinating part of all. From that day forward, Whiskers would still follow the shadows from time to time, but it was no longer an obsession. It was simply a quiet, gentle interest, a reminder of the world around him and how beautiful it could be when viewed in the right light. And so, Whiskers learned that sometimes the greatest adventures are the ones we don't try to chase, but simply allow ourselves to enjoy.